faculty athletics representative with the National Scholar Athlete here today will be recognized as part of a great program called NFF Faculty Salutes presented by Fidelity, which includes financial support for academic support services at their school, which is sort of one of these behind-the-scenes groups, but really is so instrumental in helping student athletes throughout their careers at universities. So it is my pleasure to turn it over to Fidelity Investments President of Personal Investing and NFF Vice Chairwoman. That's a big title, Kathy Murphy. She's going to say a few words about the Campbell Trophy and the Scholar Athlete class. Hopefully you'll speak better than I do. I'm struggling.
Thank you, Bonnie. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I have to tell you, we are so pleased at Fidelity to partner with the National Football Foundation, which is a terrific organization under the absolute high-quality leadership of our CEO, Steve Hatchell, and Chairman Archie Manning. It's been a terrific partnership that Fidelity has really enjoyed based on what the foundation does, what they stand for, and how they operate. We are also very, very proud to sponsor the Scholar Athlete program, which really celebrates excellence in scholarship, in athletics, and in what these young men do for their communities. We also want to make sure that we support the people that support them. And so first I'd like to congratulate the parents and other family members and people that have helped these young men to the level of excellence they've achieved, as well as coaches and professors. And as Bonnie said, as and part of the symbolism of that support is to celebrate the faculty athletic representatives and give them a scholarship at each of these universities, because it's so important to make sure that the whole person is developed, including the scholarship as well as the athletics. And so we're very pleased to celebrate the faculty athletic representatives as well as these young men. And then finally, I'd like to just say to these young men, it is extraordinary the achievements that you have achieved over these last several years. I am on the awards committee that selects all of you, and we get, as you heard, I'm sure last night, a lot of people that apply for this award. We take our job very seriously, and as the mother of a 14-year-old boy, I am always very humbled by reading your accomplishments. And again, it's not just about what you accomplish on the field, it's about how earnestly you take your studies, and also how much you give back to your communities. And each year I pester him and talk to him about some of you as I go through that big binder. So I will leave you with a quote that I always provide. One of my heroes for a variety of reasons is Vince Lombardi. And the quote that Vince Lombardi said that I think personifies what you all have achieved, and it's a good way to live your life, is that the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence. And each of you have achieved excellence, and I wish you so much success in your life as you move forward. Congratulations, gentlemen.
It's great to have Kathy on the board for the National Football Foundation. Kathy, I think you're, I believe, one of only 3 women. I know Debbie Yao from NC State and Kathy, who is about as passionate as they come about football. And having Fidelity support and really showcasing and shining a light on these extraordinary young men is more appreciated than I can even put into words. So Kathy, thank you very much. Before we hear from the individual scholar athletes, just wanted to give you a couple little nuggets of information that hopefully will resonate with you, that speaks to their amazing accomplishments. The average GPA of this class is 3.69. What was your GPA in college? Just think about it, little food for thought. 12 of these gentlemen are captains. 11 are academic all-conference athletes. 10 are all-conference selections. 8 are academic all-America selections. 4 are all-Americans. 5 have already graduated, and 5 more are on track to graduate this month. And 3 are members of their conference championship teams. Introducing our first finalist for the William Campbell Trophy, Dayton linebacker Chris Bieshler, mechanical engineering major with a 3.72 GPA. Chris is a first-time academic All-American who led the Flyers in tackles all 3 seasons. He is also one of only 6 two-time team captains in school history. So when you think about balancing the academics and the athletics and how it is, and I did gymnastics in college, I know what the struggle is like. What was the key to success for you?
I think for me, just surrounding myself with great people. You know, finding that school that fit me personally, and then in the classroom and also on the football field. You know, I've been blessed to be around great coaches, great teammates, and better people in general at the University of Dayton. You know, I'd like to thank those people, Coach Chamberlain, who's here with us today, and then also my teammates. They're the ones who push me in the classroom and on the field. I just want to thank them, and it's an honor to represent them today.
What's next for you?
I'm actually starting work in Indianapolis in January.
Doing?
Campbell engineering.
Oh, see, look, somebody who majored in something who goes out to the field and actually does what he majored in. Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you.
Great story here with Tim Crowley, San Jose State University's very own wideout. 3.78 GPA in Business Management Information Systems, which means he's a tech geek. Tim is an Arthur Ashe Jr. Sports Scholar who now ranks in the top 10 in all-time career catches for the Spartans. And Tim, what I love about your story is that you started as a walk-on. It's amazing. And I would imagine it really helped you embrace your experience because you know what it's like to be a non-scholarship athlete and a scholarship athlete. And in a day and age where we're talking about covering cost of attendance and paying athletes and stuff like that, I really thought you would be able to lend unique perspective to what it meant to you to have the money of that scholarship, which enabled you to focus on your academics and your sports.
Well, yeah, so I came into college as a walk-on. So yeah, like you said, I've experienced both sides of that spectrum. So, and that was before the cost of attendance thing was even applied. So yeah, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard to pay your way through without any financial aid. I mean, me and my mom, and my dad, and my sister, it's kind of a little bit of a struggle my first year. I almost got evicted from the dorms. It was pretty tough. But when I earned the scholarship, it was just a blessing. It's truly a blessing, and I'm proud, to be where I am. I'm honored to, represent a team, that's had my back for the last 5 years, and represent a coach who was kind enough to offer me the scholarship. So I just want to thank them, and I want to thank you guys as well, the NFF, for putting on this amazing event. I never thought I'd be sitting up here today with these 11 great guys, and it's just been a blessing and an honor to be here.
Wonderful perspective. Thank you, Tim. From the Duke Blue Devils, safety Devon Edwards, 3.35 in psychology, already pursuing his master's degree. Devon's a 3-time All-American, ranks 3rd in NCAA history with 6 career kick returns for touchdowns. You are in esteemed company down in Durham. Devon, 4th Duke Scholar Athlete in the past 5 years. We know how competitive it is on the football field, but how competitive is it in the classroom among you and your teammates, just knowing the standards that you need to achieve to get into school in the first place?
It's very competitive. I mean, Coach Cutcliffe, when he recruits certain student athletes, he looks for guys that are going to compete in different areas of their life. Football is just one aspect of his job. He tries to challenge us to overcome adversity in our life, in the classroom, and just being around Duke University. I mean, we are in the same classroom as some of the smartest people all over the world that, look at athletes and think that they are, smarter and could do this and do that. And so when athletes are able to challenge them in the classroom as well, you learn, you also are able to connect with those guys because they they come from different backgrounds than you. So just being competitive and taking advantage of the opportunity of why you're at school and making the most out of it is big. And Coach Cutcliffe really expects all of his student athletes to take advantage of the opportunities in the classroom and football field to pursue a great life past football.
I'm curious, as a psych major, did that really help you maybe when there were tough times in your career because you were being trained to understand how the mind works?
Oh yeah, I think early in my degree, I would take some of the stuff I learned from psychology and try to use it on my girlfriend. She always...
Still together?
She always say, you always trying to use the stuff from the book. And you know how that goes. I'm not going to get too far into it.
See, here I thought you were going to say early on I used the stuff on my teammate's note. Where's the girl? Congratulations, Devon. Next on our file list, that's really funny. I'm going to remember that. I go back to my boyfriend and being that. You know, one of these kids was a psych major. He tried to use all this stuff on his girlfriend. All right, moving on. From Arkansas, Brooks Ellis, linebacker, 382 GPA in exercise science. Brooks, two-year team captain, amassed 285 tackles and is a member of the 2016 SEC Football Community Service Team. And obviously, this is a large part of what the Campbell Trophy is academics, but prior to you guys coming up here, we had Danny Werfel giving out his trophy, which is based predominantly on community service. And Brooks, I was wondering if you could talk about how fulfilling having that platform has been for you, having that football platform, but using it as a way to make a difference in the lives of others.
I mean, so many young kids look up to us, especially in Arkansas. That's like the pro team of Arkansas. So many young kids are always, you know, coming up to the Razorback players and wanting autographs. And I mean, sometimes they don't even know who we are. They just know we're Razorback football players and want to get our autographs and want to get pictures. And you know, to see these guys, like before at a football game in Little Rock, I met with this young kid who was going through, like, he's gone through 70 surgeries in his lifetime, and that's, I mean, incredible. And just to be able to make a difference in his life and talk to him and just see his perspective on life. I mean, he was the happiest kid I've ever seen, and I don't know how. I mean, he's been through a lot, and he just was so happy and so excited to see us and Coach B, and just to know that we have that impact on young kids, and we can make that difference in the community is really special.
That's great. Hogs, Virginia Tech, Belk Bowl, who you like?
Obviously us.
Give me a little bit. Give me a key to victory.
I mean,
Don't say score the most points, because that's just really boring.
I mean, on defense, we gotta stop the run like always, and I mean, they have a good quarterback, so we gotta stop him.
All right, congratulations, Brooks. From St. John's in Minnesota, linebacker Carter Hansen. Oh, just a plain old 4.0 GPA in global business leadership. Sunny day in the park. Two-time first-team academic All-American, finished his career 5th in school history with 316 tackles. Carter, I find your major fascinating at this time in the world. And you've really held a leadership position in everything you've done. And I'm going to test your wit for a second. We've got a new administration coming up. There's a lot of questions as to what global business is going to look like. And as somebody who majors in that, I'm sure follows what's going on, I would love your perspective on how you think things are going to be in the next 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. Thanks for asking.
I tried.
You know, I think it's just like in football, it's important to work together. And so I think moving forward, the biggest thing that we can do as a global community is to work together, create synergies, and so we can all prosper, you know, as one world together. So I think that's the biggest thing is you know, working together and just really looking out for each other, because when it comes down to it, you know, we have one Earth, and we all need to prosper from that as one global community.
See if we could get President-elect Trump to bring you on the team. I think you're pretty qualified. Congratulations, Carter. Former BYU quarterback, current BYU quarterback Taysom Hill, 345 GPA in finance, currently pursuing his MBA, beginning his unique collegiate career after serving a 2-year LDS mission in Australia. Taysom became the only quarterback in school history with more than 4,000 passing yards and 2,000 rushing yards in a career. And for those of you who are pretty fanatic football fans in the audience, you know that Taysom comes from a long line of pretty impressive quarterbacks: Ty Detmer, Steve Young, Jim McMahon, Max Hall more recently. So if you were an analyst waxing poetic about your career, where would you place yourself among some of the guys I just named?
That's a tough question. You know, I grew up really close to BYU. I grew up idolizing, watching those guys play, wanting to meet them, and then had the opportunity to play for one of them, Ty Detmer, who's now our offensive coordinator, who will be here this evening. You know, I don't think that's for me to say, right? I think that's for the fans, and as analysts look at the numbers, they can say what it is. But one thing that I do want to be known for is someone who competed in everything that I did and who loved the game and left it all out there.
What was the transition period like for you, looking at Ty Detmer as somebody you idolized to somebody who was your coach and has ultimately become your friend?
Yeah, you know, I knew Ty before he accepted the job, and when Coach and I went to Virginia with Coach Manahall, I actually had a conversation with Ty about the position, and so I knew that he was in the running for it, and we had spoken before, and someone who I'd already called friend. And so I really admired him for being involved in the program and wanting to give back. And I think the greatest thing about having Ty there this year is, as a quarterback, you know, Ty has been through it all. He's thrown many pick sixes, he's thrown a lot of touchdowns, he's thrown a lot of interceptions, and in every situation we would have a conversation about a particular play. He would have a story to go with it. And so he knew exactly what I was going through, and it was such an honor to be coached by Ty for his accomplishments and for his person that he is.
Congratulations, Taysom. From Wake Forest, safety Ryan Javion, holding a 3.53 GPA in Business and Enterprise Management. Ryan was named the ACC's 2016 Jim Tatum Award recipient and 3-time Academic All-District. His career total in tackles, 324, not too shabby. Ryan, you are the first person ever to be named NFF Scholar Athlete at Wake Forest. What does that mean to you personally?
Good question. I was really nervous what you were going to ask me, because it seems like the questions are getting harder and harder.
Well, I'm an ACC alum, so I'm just letting you off the hook. You're welcome.
It means a lot. I was actually kind of surprised when they told me, because Wake Forest always has great student athletes. One thing that my coaches always told me, that if I wanted to come to Wake Forest, I had to do it both. I had to do it both on the field and off the field. And I felt like that was a bigger challenge, because they demand more of us. I mean, we have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning every day and put everything into practice, and then go to class and put everything we have into class, and making sure we do our schoolwork. We can't just get by. And I felt like that was a challenge that I wanted to face, and just to be able to represent my university and come to this amazing awards banquet and everything that the NFF does, and being able to stand up here with all these phenomenal men who have had successful careers. You know, it's like, wow, why I feel like, you know, why am I up here? Like, I feel so honored to be with these guys up here, and it just means a lot. I'm proud to be a Wake Forest Demon Deacon, and I'm proud to represent my family in this time as well. And I'm honored, and I'm thankful for everything that Wake Forest has done for me, and I'll continue to represent them in the highest manner.
What do you want to